Charles Richardson Show is uncensored and is for adults only. Mature or immature, doesn't matter.
The new Amazon Echo has everyone asking Alexa for help.
Alyssa, what time is it? What the hell is wrong with this blasted thing? Amanda!
But the latest technology isn't always easy to use for people of a certain age.
These kids done bought me a busted machine again. Oh, yes, sir.
That's why Amazon partnered with AARP to present the new Amazon Echo Silver, the only smart speaker device designed specifically to be used by the greatest generation. It's super loud and responds to any name even remotely close to Alexa, so they can find out the weather.
Allegra, what is the weather outside?
It is 74 degrees and sunny.
Huh?
It is 74 degrees and sunny.
Where?
Outside.
What about it?
The temperature outside is 74 degrees and sunny.
I don't know about that.
The latest in sports.
Clarissa, how many did old Satchel strike out last night?
Satchel Paige died in 1982.
How many did he get?
Satchel Paige is dead.
In what now?
Died.
Who did?
Satchel Paige.
I don't know about that.
Even local news and pop culture.
Anita, what them boys up to across the street?
They are just playing.
They what now?
They are just playing.
You say they just playing now?
Yes, they are just playing.
I don't know about that.
Pair it to smart devices like your thermostat.
Alessandra, turn the heat up.
The room is already 100 degrees.
Are you trying to kill me, Alize?
The new Amazon Echo Silver plays all the music they loved when they were young.
Angela played black jazz.
Playing jazz.
It also has a quick scan feature to help them find things.
Emilia, where did I put the phone?
The phone is in your right hand.
And it has an feature for long rambling stories.
So then I gave him $5, and he said I only gave him $1. I said, I know I gave you a $5. Because I only had a 5 and a 1 on me. And this is the $1 right here. So, I mean, you tell me who's crazy.
Amazon Echo Silver. Get yours today. I said get yours today.
To order Amazon Echo Silver, send a check or money order to Amazon.com right now.
Changing the way we date. Uber, changing the way we get from place to place. We've combined both. Say hello to Under, the car service for people looking to meet that special someone on the way to wherever. Step 1, open the Under app and activate. If you don't like the way the driver looks, simply swipe left using Under's ultra-convenient technology. And if you like what you see, simply like the driver. When the driver you choose also chooses you, you have a match.
Hey, you're Paige?
Uh-huh.
And you live in Brooklyn? And you like Paul Rudd movies and brunch?
Yes.
Is that true?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Seems like everybody does.
If the driver wants to get to know you better, he'll swipe forward to indicate that you may sit in the front seat.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to work on this part of the service.
It's a little bright.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did I kick you?
It's not my car. It's not okay.
When you get the right match, sit back and let Under take the wheel.
So, I know where you're going, but where are you from?
I'm from Ohio.
Oh, right. Round on both sides, high in the middle.
Did you just make that up?
No. People say that.
From there, get ready for the most romantic evening of your life.
Cheers.
Yeah, I don't normally drink and drive, but kind of have to in this line of working.
Yeah.
It's from a box.
Under drivers are all certified 5-star conversationalists.
You like music?
I love music.
Yeah, music's pretty important, huh?
Do you like music
Oh,
too?
yeah. Big time.
Wow.
I go to like all the bands, shows, and I listen to everything on Spotify.
Our drivers are experts in picking you up.
You have amazing eyes, by the way. Just noticed, because I'm driving. So,
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, you have amazing eyes too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I usually last a little longer.
Oh, no. You were great. Fare's getting expensive anyways.
Under drivers always end the date like perfect gentlemen.
5 stars for you, mister.
Thanks.
You have another date?
I mean, I do this for a living.
I thought we had a connection.
Sorry, I'm going to end the date by swiping left. Sorry. Sorry about that. Hey, can you give me a good rating? I mean, for the driving. Sorry, I know this part's kind of weird. Hi there.
Hi.
So, I know where you're going, but where are you from?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Connect to cut. That's how I remember it.
Also, if you're feeling adventurous, try Under Pool. Under. Everyone has a sex drive, but now you can have drive sex.
Barely ads, they're stupid fake commercials.
Hey there. I saw you using that public ATM and then sticking your finger in your mouth. I see you like to take risks. What's your name?
Niti, humanity, what's yours?
Coronavirus.
Oh no.
Come on, girl. Why don't you take off that face mask so we can get infectious?
My name is Corona, my viral Casanova. I'll enter your persona from China to Barcelona. You cannot fight me with karate, 'cause I'll enter your body. Make some carbon copies and get you very snotty.
Infectious.
Touch your eyes and mouth. Corona. Sitting in a crowded place. Corona. Shake a stranger's hand. Corona. Travel to a foreign land. Corona. Not as bad as AIDS. Corona. Still much worse than SARS. Corona. Started in Wuhan. Corona. Now it's on your hands. Corona. My name is Corona. I'm a viral Casanova. I'll enter your persona from China to Barcelona. My name is Corona. I'm a viral Casanova. I'll enter your persona from China to Barcelona.
Infectious.
Everything is under control. The public is advised not to panic. We will all die one day.
Corona.
Live from the Raw Talk Studios in Southwest Florida, it's the Charles Richardson Show.
All right, testing on the mics. 1 2 1 2. I am live. Tony D, do we have you on here?
Testes?
1 2. Testes 1 2. I have 2. Do you?
I got
You know
2.
what? That's a personal question. We should not even talk about that.
I got
Let's
2.
not even go into that. What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday, June the 2nd, 2021. Happy Wednesday, everybody, to you. Hope you're having a great hump day. And if you're not, hopefully my guest right now, who we're going to shoot right over to, and it's Thursday right now where he's at.
That's right.
That's right. It is 12:09. I told him I'd get him on right as soon as we started. Tim Fizzackerly. He is a hypnotist. He is a mind coach. He is a savior. And we're going to go ahead and tweak his, not tweak his mind, but we're going to pick his brain a little bit. Tim, welcome to the show. How's it over there overseas?
Actually, at the moment, amazingly, we've actually got some sun, which is very unusual in the UK.
Wow.
Normally, it's just cold and grey, but today we have had some sun, so we're all feeling really good, I think.
So you got the sun, and we're over here in Florida, we're finally getting rain. Like, it's the first time it's rained in, 2 months, and it's amazing how quickly the tides turn. But that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. You get a little sun out there. Is it true that over there in that area it doesn't get a lot of sun? It's mostly like kind of gloomy.
Well, we do get sun sometimes, but we tend to make the most of it because it's, as a rule, it's not very common. It's very often overcast and grey, and you can have snow in June, July, even sometimes. You just don't know what's going to happen with the British weather. It's
No, thank you.
Shut up, Tony. Listen, he has to live in that stuff every day. You have to live with it up there in Jersey too. It's gloomy up there.
Yeah, well, we just got over 53 degrees, 43 degrees this past weekend, and heavy down rain pours. And I was like, I'm done. I'm over this. I'm like, it's time for winter. He said snow in June and July. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
And I'm over here sitting in the lap of luxury, 88 degrees, 92 degrees, sunny, pool weather. Beach. I know, I am spoiled. Hey, listen, that's why my parents moved down here when I was 12. They didn't want to spend any more winters up there in the New England area. Hell no.
Don't blame them.
Let's get right to business, because Tim, like I said, it's midnight over there, and he's way past his bedtime. I hope you had a couple of cups of coffee. I hope. So
yeah, I'm firing on all cylinders. At least I think I am.
Well, we'll find out here. Just a momentary notice here. So the month of June, I don't know if it's the way over there in UK, but the month of June is Mental Awareness Month. And I don't know if it's celebrated over there in the UK as such. I'm not sure if it's an American thing or what, but it's a pretty big deal that, I think needs to be brought. A lot of people are very uneducated. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm one of them. I've heard of PTSD. I hear people how they handle the symptoms, and I'm thinking, you just have to go ahead, go through life. But I understand it's not like that. Can you dive into maybe some of the misconceptions of PTSD and symptoms that may seem mundane, but these things are pretty serious?
Yeah, they are. And the thing is, it can happen to anybody, because obviously you'll know from your own experience that life is unpredictable. And the things that typically traumatize people are the things that they are not expecting and they aren't prepared for. And traumas, when they happen, tend to happen quickly. They tend to be very, very intense. And our brains are just not really designed to handle that kind of thing.
Right.
So, and the effects can be very, very long lasting. So even something that may take only a few seconds, it can have a ripple-on effect that lasts a lifetime unless something's done about it. And I know that from personal experience, because in 1989, I was hit head-on by a drunk driver in a car crash. We collided at about 90 miles an hour.
Ooh.
I was lucky enough to walk away from the accident, basically with bruises and nothing else.
Right.
But it was 2-3 years before I really felt comfortable driving a vehicle. And I was fortunate to come away with that kind of a psychological fallout. Many people would not have got behind the wheel of a car again.
Yeah, so I can understand something like that can definitely go ahead and cause this ripple effect that just lasts and stays with you. Tony D, who's the other voice that you're hearing, he's up there in Jersey. He does suffer from PTSD, I think, among other things, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So he's very integrated into this conversation because he knows firsthand what it's like as versus me. I think I'm just an asshole, and I get just angry. I just have mood swings. I think that's all I have. So, but Tony really wants to get into this.
Yeah. So, what's up, Tim? How you doing, bud? So the big thing with me is I suffered a near life ending experience back in 2017. I was a firefighter. And I count my blessings every single day, from it. And I live now with, being diagnosed PTSD, panic attacks, high anxiety. I've been through CBT, ECT, been institutionalized, and now I'm highly medicated on medications for the PTSD. My question to you is, and I am in a stable state of mind today. My question to you is, with the PTSD and you're seeing with the hypnotherapy, with the way that the brain works and the way that the symptoms manifest themselves, how long are you seeing the hypnotist hypnotist stuff hypnosis working in the long run, as if like people are taking medications? Because the big problem is in America is the benzos that people are taking that are getting addicted to the medication. So people are trying to find alternatives to not getting addicted to the medication that the psychiatrists are prescribing. So what is the success rate with your therapy?
Right. Okay. Well, I am a little bit unusual in as much as a hypnotherapist, I sort of fairly quickly realized that there were things that you can do with hypnosis, and there are hypnotic techniques that other people use that work on these things. But I actually started looking at alternatives, because sometimes the way to deal with a trauma might be to use what's called hypnotic regression, for example. So that's where you have somebody go back and re-experience an event. And the sort of classic way of treating it with hypnosis is to have somebody go back, re-experience it, but to do something with that memory, to change it a little bit, and to repeatedly do that over a short period of time, so that each time you go back, it's less intense. Now, personally, I don't think that's a particularly good way of doing it, although it's the way I was taught to do it. It can be very effective, but it does rely on people having a good working state of hypnosis, and not every hypnotherapist is good at achieving that with everybody who walks through the door. But it also means that a hypnotherapist needs to be good at hypnotic regression. And again, that's something that many hypnotherapists aren't particularly good at. So I started looking at alternatives, and I actually created a different way of doing this, which is suggestion based. But you can think of it as a sort of motor interference type therapy. So it's basically, it combines suggestion with movement. And you talked about CBT. CBT for me is never going to work for PTSD, because
I could not agree with you more. CBT is the most overrated thing that I've ever been through for PTSD. It's done nothing but made matters actually worse.
Does it actually help you sleep? Because Scotty, who's actually on the chat right there, he's the other person that I know that suffers. I tried to hook you guys up as well, not as a couple, but he says CBD sometimes helps him sleep, but it only lasts for so long. Then he has to go to other types of stuff it does CBD. Do you see any results of sleeping? I know you are. I know you've did a lot of work with the PTSD, but do you see any CBD effects of like sleep? Are they able to sleep better?
Okay, well, I think we're talking about two different things there. So I think you're talking about CBD oil, which is a sort of cannabis derivative. Is that right?
That's what you're talking about.
No, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Excuse me. Go on. That's my headphones.
Behavioral therapy, and it makes no sense. Over here in the UK, our National Health Service is very heavily invested in CBT, and the evidence base for it is practically non-existent. But there's this idea that if you can get your head around it and figure it out consciously, then you can resolve problems. And it's nonsense, because your emotions don't come from your conscious mind. If they did, you'd be able to flick them on and off like a switch. You'd just be able to say to yourself, well, I'm not going to feel unhappy today, and you wouldn't. And the fact that you can't do that is evidence that your emotions don't come from the conscious mind. You can try and pretend that you're not unhappy if you are unhappy, and you can try and shield that from the world around you, but it doesn't stop you feeling that way on the inside. So all of our emotions come from a different part of the mind. They come from the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, it sounds like it does this thing really exist? Absolutely, it does. And I could talk you through exactly ways to demonstrate that it does. But the very fact that you cannot consciously control your emotions, you cannot consciously control the panic that you might feel as a result of experiencing a trauma, means that your conscious mind has very little to do with it. Let
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Tim. I don't mean to interrupt or anything like that, but let me ask you a question. you're talking about in hypnosis, taking somebody who suffered a trauma and trying to relive that. How dangerous on a level? How dangerous is that? Like, could there be relapses?
It's an interesting question. And like I say, that's not the way I do it.
Okay.
But the classic way to treat post-traumatic stress, if you're using hypnotherapy, because there are basically two approaches. You can just drop somebody into hypnosis and give them lots and lots of suggestions, which would be along the lines of, if you find yourself in a similar situation, you're going to be relaxed, you're going to be calm, you're not going to worry about these things, they're not going to spring to mind, those sorts of suggestions.
Right.
Typically, even with a good hypnotic subject, that isn't likely to work. What does work is having people revisit problematic memories and do something completely different with them. But obviously that can be a fairly intense procedure, because with hypnosis, it's what's called a revivification, which basically means you have the experience all over again. And that's a very, very powerful thing if you want to make changes to it, but it's not necessarily the most pleasant thing to go through. So that, like I said, that's why I started looking at alternatives. And in terms of post-traumatic stress, I am somewhat unusual in as much as a method that I created for treating PTSD has actually been tested by neuroscientists. Actually, not in the UK. They're actually in Mexico, of all places. They recently did a pilot study using my method for treating PTSD, which relies on a recording, so you don't even need a therapist there. They did a half-hour intervention. I can send you if you're interested, I can send you the paper that they wrote on this, which is in the scientific press now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and publish a post that on my page. Okay.
Well, they did a half-hour intervention, so this was limited to just 30 minutes, and I think they started it was Christmas this came out, so my memory's a bit hazy about it. I think they started with 12 participants. They discarded 2 for some reason. I can't remember what it was. But the remaining 10 all had a clinical diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. They did this half-hour audio intervention with them. After the half hour, everybody's trauma, more or less, in terms of what they were saying about the way they thought about it, had reduced drastically. Almost a third of the participants no longer qualified for a PTSD diagnosis at all. Some people on the study didn't respond immediately, but within the week, the sort of numbers came down. But for every single person on that study, they saw a huge improvement. And like I said, about a third no longer qualified for a PTSD diagnosis. Now, that was with just a half-hour intervention. But
that is so interesting.
Yeah, they've been doing a much bigger study, which has shown exactly the same results. And on that study, they've monitored the results over a much longer period of time. From what I understand from speaking to them, the results on the bigger study are basically a mirror of that, which doesn't surprise me, because here in the UK, the same tools are available. People can download them, and they're measuring the mental health technology company that offers this is measuring the results on the back end anonymously, and the data sets look basically the same. So we're actually in a position where a successful treatment for post-traumatic stress is basically available, but very, very few people know about it.
Is PTSD something that's reversible? Like, could you cure somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the reason why. If you think about it, the way your brain works, you typically connect one thing with another. So, if I were to say night, you would probably connect it to day. And you could fire words at people and they come back, cat and dog. And, people are going to come back with different things. But we work by means of making simple connections. And, going back to the car accident that I had associated driving the car with pleasure, relaxation, those kinds of things. It only took a few seconds for that to change. And in those few seconds, my brain had to rewrite what driving was all about. Now, it doesn't have a lot of time. I didn't have time. It hit me so fast, I didn't even have time to say I came out with an expletive, but I didn't finish it because it happened so fast. And it was in a split second that I was traumatized. And it's very much the same for many people. There's not a great deal of rewiring that your brain can do in a split second. So the idea that therapy should take a long time to solve these problems is crazy, because the reality is there's very little rewiring to do. And traditional approaches have made the mistake of assuming that it takes a long time. Counseling is often used for things like traumas. Again, I don't see the sense in that, because counseling is about what's going on in the conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Consciously, people don't want to feel trauma. If they could, they would consciously just switch it off.
Right.
So
that is such a good point, because I believe that counseling is for what is in the moment, and then with trauma, like you said, reliving the moment. That was one of the number one things was going back to the scene of where I was injured. Was one of the number one things that my therapist, I'm part of a heroes program for PTSD that is military, cops, law enforcement, etc. That was the number one thing that they said was, can you weather going back to the scene where you got injured and relive that moment of what happened to you? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've driven past it. I never stopped to actually indulge in the moment of what actually happened to me. So by you saying that, it kind of opens my eyes a little bit and says, is it going back to that scene to say, okay, this happened here, but in my mind, I got to correct what happened here that made my mind crooked at that time? Because I do feel that this is reversible, but I just don't have the right approach on knowing how to reverse it yet.
Yeah, I would say absolutely it is reversible. It has to be, because our brains don't only work in one direction. So that was basically the concept, the understanding that I started out with when I started trying to create this way of treating it. And so, in my therapy office, what I do is I do a mixture of these tools that I created and hypnosis, and I put the two things together. But for many of the things that I work on, realistically, I could probably dispense with hypnosis in 80% of the things that I'm working on and just use these tools, because they have proven to be so reliable. But just to give you a military example, I was contacted a few years ago by a guy called Stan Pontier, I think his surname was. And he'd come across the work that I'd produced, and he had, this is quite a long time ago, so I may get this slightly wrong, but from my recollection, he'd spent 13 months in Vietnam fighting. And when he came back, very traumatized, he couldn't speak about his experiences for nearly 40 years. He went through the process that I've just been talking about, and he went through it once. And for the first time in 40 years, he could talk about the things that he went through in Vietnam. So, yes, these things are reversible, because there's not a lot of rewiring to do. There's a structure in the brain called the amygdala, which basically works like a sort of switching station. And it seems to be within that structure that many of these things are, sort of exist. And the idea that these things have to be lived with for the long term is just, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
When memory is laid down, it's laid down in a particular way, but it's not, we don't record memory like a video recorder. It's our perception that's laid down. And you could have two people on an aeroplane with terrible turbulence. One gets off the plane and is frightened of flying ever after, and another person gets off the plane and isn't. Well, there's a reason why those two people come off the plane with completely different ways of looking at reality, and it's because what we experience is what we model about reality, and that's done for us by our subconscious mind. It's not reality itself. So all you're really doing, with hypnosis and with these other tools that I'm talking about, is you're changing the way somebody models reality. And that's not an approach that's taken with any other modality, really. Whether it's counseling or EMDR is another popular one for trauma. But typically for trauma, people are looking at maybe 30 or 40 sessions of EMDR. This is eye movement desensitization therapy or something. I can't remember exactly what it stands for.
Good. We got a question in the chat. Karen asks, is it reversible, or do we learn to cope and have learned mechanisms that aid us through? Is that, is it completely reversible? I guess is what she's asking.
It's a really good question, and I would say it's completely reversible. In the majority of cases, the only times I think that I've come across where sort of post-traumatic stress has proven difficult to work with is where it's been cumulative, where somebody has been through the similar experiences day after day after day, year after year after year after year. But typically those kinds of people have grown up in terribly abusive families or households, and they've been exposed to awful stuff constantly. And that really colors the way somebody views reality. But
there's different levels then, pretty much. You can have a really, really, really bad, and what if you get somebody that's really messed up, somebody that's just having the hardest time ever? Is there hope for reversal? Or if you can't reverse it, that's one of those cases that you can't reverse. What is like usually the outcome? Like, is there at least some sort of relief?
Yeah. It's I can't think of a single person that I've worked with that hasn't felt better, at least.
Do you do virtual appointments, or is everything like in the office?
Yeah, well, I much prefer to work in person. I do virtual appointments, and because of coronavirus, I've had to, because I don't know whether I mentioned it in the email, but my wife she's a multiple transplantee. She's also a 3-time survivor of terminal illness.
Yeah. That was one of the things I was going to mention in there, because that was how you actually looks like you had dived into hypnotherapy.
Yeah, it's the only reason I got interested in hypnosis in the first place is because she was born with this genetic condition. There's no point in me going into it in detail, but basically what happened was nearly 20 years ago, she found herself being told that she needed to have a liver transplant because of this genetic condition, but she wasn't fit enough to have one. And it was a horrible chicken and egg situation, because what they will not do, because organs for transplantation are obviously a precious commodity. And the waiting lists in the UK at the time for a liver were typically about 5 years, I think. So what they won't do is give people organs if they don't think that there's any chance of them surviving the operation.
Gotcha.
And she was in a position where it was decided she simply wasn't fit enough to go through an operation and survive it. So it would have been a waste of an organ. So they said, "Yeah, we're not going to take the risk." Yeah, exactly. So then they go to other people, and it's done on a sort of points make prizes basis. And as the longer somebody's been on a waiting list, the more points they have. If they're younger, they get more points. Right. If they've got children, they get more points. Depending on the closest of the match, there's more points. All the rest of it is literally a points make prizes lottery, really. But yeah, so basically what happened was there was no medical option apart from liver transplantation, but she wasn't fit enough to have one. And the reason she wasn't fit enough to have one was because the effect that it was having on her body was that she was really struggling to eat, she was really struggling to drink, and they basically sent her home to die because there was nothing they could do. And that was why we started looking around at other things. And I don't know why, but I remembered reading a book that I'd come across I was probably a teenager at the time, about hypnosis. And one of the chapters had been about certain physical conditions being responsive. And we thought, okay, well, we've got nothing to lose. It's not like there's an abundance of time here. We've got to do something.
Right.
So we started phoning around hypnotherapists, and we couldn't find anybody that we either had any confidence in or that was prepared to take it on, because I mean it was a big ask, and so I ended up going to the local library, getting some books out on hypnosis, putting together a recording for her to listen to, which she did, and she played this recording about 4 times a day for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and it got her eating and drinking more or less normally.
Wow.
13 months after that, she kept building herself up. Within a few months, she was finally considered fit enough to go on a transplantation waiting list. 13 months after that, she finally got what turned out to be the first of 3 transplants. But liver transplants are a huge undertaking. The first transplant she had was a 12-hour operation, and they went through nearly 40 units of blood.
Jeez. Wow.
So yeah, you do have to be. So we completely understand why they do these assessments as to whether somebody is likely to survive it. But that's the only reason I got interested in hypnosis.
But it's just amazing. You went ahead, you got a book out of the library, and you basically cured her, in a sense, enough to go ahead and save her life.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a cure. But it was enough to get her eating and drinking sufficiently to be able to
That's
just
amazing.
hang on, pull herself up, and get fit enough to go through a transplant.
Now, Tim, I want to ask you.
We're on the phone with Tim Fazakali. He's from the UK. He is a hypnotist specializing in PTSD. We have him on today because it is the beginning days of the month for mental awareness. And Tony, go ahead with I just wanted to go ahead and get the formal introduction.
You're fine. I wanted to ask you, when you see your clientele come in with their manifestations of their symptoms, are you seeing a lot of high blood pressure, insomnia, night tremors, panic attacks, just general anxiety? Are you seeing a lot of the same symptoms coming in? Because it's weird with me that, like, once I was diagnosed with PTSD, a lot of my friends that aren't aware of PTSD, they were like, whoa, so you keep reliving that dream over and over and over and over again. I'm like, no, I actually don't get the dreams. I actually get the physical symptoms of anxiety and the panic attacks and all that every day. So I just wanted to see if the symptoms that you're seeing, that it's like it's completely different from person to person, or if it's all the night stuff.
No, I would say it's completely different from person to person, and the people cope with it in all sorts of different ways. And I was talking about these people that go through repeated traumas as they're growing up. It's very, very common for people to become addicted to alcohol and drugs and all sorts of things. Because what many people will do, because they're struggling to cope with the feelings that they've got, is they try to find things that will change, that they can use to quickly change emotional state. So so it's very, very common for people to, if they've been through repeated trauma, especially if it's made them feel bad about themselves, for them to want to change their emotional state. And they can do that through drugs, they can do it through alcohol, they can do it through sex. Sometimes it's gambling, sometimes it's food. There's all sorts of things.
I like the sex part. That's good. I like that.
I was going to say, there's various different types of trauma. If it's a very, very specific event, then it tends to be different. Typically, what people do is either, they'll sort of relive it. Yeah, many people will have, these flashbacks and reliving things, but for other people, it's more a case of the way it impacts on their lives, which it may mean that they limit the things that they're doing because they want to avoid finding themselves in similar situations.
Right.
Over the last summer, I worked with a girl who had she was actually gang raped. What happened to her was just horrific. This group of, she was basically like a date rape drug that was used. She was taken back to this property. She was stripped naked. All of these guys took a turn with her, and she was completely traumatized as a consequence of that.
Absolutely.
Now, The people, the men that did this apparently ended up in prison, but she had to go through all the court process as well that followed that. So this wasn't just what happened to her. It was all of the things that happened to her afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, it's good the guys went ahead and went to prison, but that's not going to help her and what's going on upstairs. She had to go ahead and suffer through all that.
The way she coped with it was by turning to alcohol. And so she ended up as a chronic alcoholic. And that's one of the reasons why I'm working with lots of alcohol problems, because very often there's a trauma at the heart of those.
Right.
And by addressing the trauma and setting her free from the consequences of that, we were able to solve the alcohol problem. So, and it was interesting because she'd already been to see other people and they'd been trying to treat the alcohol problem, but the alcohol problem wasn't the problem. The problem for her was the trauma that had triggered all of this in the first place. So that was what really needed addressing.
Yeah.
So Tim, are you seeing a lot of trauma and people coming to you now from coronavirus, from being sheltered in place for over a year?
At the moment, I'm not, but I think it is absolutely inevitable that once people start to return to normal, this is really going to hit them. It's a strange sort of thing. I mean, what I do know is that the mental health helplines are taking far more calls. As I understand it, the suicide rate has increased.
Yes.
But it's affecting people in sorts of different ways. Obviously, people have got anxiety about work and employment, whether they're still going to have a job, whether the business that they're working for is going to weather the storm, whether they're going to be able to pay the bills. Being separated from the people that we love and care about, not spending time with family. I mean, my wife was able to give her mum and dad a hug for the first time in 15 months the other day. And, human contact is something that everybody needs.
So another thing too, like, human emotions and stuff like that. There's actually a very detailed, again, Scotty, who's suffers from PTSD as well. He writes, "See, I have a crazy problem with being held or somebody sitting next to me and press their arms on me, meaning if I feel like I need to move, I have to move. I believe it's due to the person sitting on my chest breaking the bones in my face while I was not able to get up." He actually had, he was in a violent altercation that he was left on the losing side of in more ways than one. So since 2017, when all the memories unlocked, I now have a huge problem with being held down or back, if you get what I mean. Do you kind of understand where he's coming from at all?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, like I said, that's what I'm saying about the subconscious mind, because it looks for pattern. So any kind of similar situation, instantly all the alarm bells are going off because it doesn't want to repeat. And so somebody could experience a trauma in one circumstance, but suffer the consequence of it in a completely different circumstance, because there's something about that new situation which the subconscious mind associates or recognizes as having been present in the first one. So it could be, suppose somebody's in a convenience store or something and it's held at gunpoint, and there's a robbery or something like that, and there's guns, all the rest of it. Somebody could subsequently find themselves in a completely different location, a different kind of environment, but maybe they'll see a coat that's very, very similar to the kind of thing that the gunman was wearing, and that might be enough to fire off the trauma, and it basically reattaches that person to that memory.
It's all about them triggers. It's all about the triggers, and that's the key. That's the key component to PTSD is triggers, and limiting the amount of triggers that you're around or that you that you can avoid. And that's one thing that I've learned over time. Like, like I said, like I can drive by that scene of where I had my TBI, but I can't stop there because I know what's going to happen the second I stop there, because I start getting anxious even driving by where that area was, the situation that I was in. So I it would be very hard to stop there and step out of the car and walk to that area because I know that it would be an automatic trigger, and all of a sudden that flashback, boom, we're right back to 2017.
The more and more I hear about it, it's like, Tony, if you were to drive by there, I'm surprised it's not doing more flashbacks to you. I mean, you would actually, in your you're saying you can go ahead, you could be all right driving by it, but if you stopped, everything is
absolutely
right back. You're going to go into a relapse.
Because like I know, so like there's a red light, there's a traffic light that's right before the street that it happened on. So every time that I hit that traffic light, that thought comes into my head automatically that coming up in about a quarter of a mile on my left-hand side is where I damn near almost lost my life. And it's every single time. So it's that trigger is a light trigger at the moment when I'm at that traffic light, but it's right when I get past it, that angst and that anxiety begins to go away as I begin to drive away from the scene. See, if I pulled up on it, like I avoid that street like a plague. Like I won't even drive down that street because of just, I know what it's going to do to me. And it's all about the triggers. It's all about the triggers.
We're on the line with Tim Verzackerly. You can go visit his website, britain'sfastesthypnotist.com. If you need help spelling that, it's right there on the video. BRITAINSFASTESTHYPNOTIST. Had just amazing work with hypnosis and PTSD. That's what we're talking about because it's Mental Awareness Month here, the month of June. And there's also with hypnotherapist with hypnosis. Thank you. You said there's a large misconception about people believing in hypnosis and feeling that's just a joke or just a game. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, that obviously we all grew up with the Hollywood movies and the Scooby-Doo cartoons, those sorts of things, and hypnosis is not accurately represented. The thing is, it's outside most people's everyday experience. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people think, well, is it really real? Maybe their only exposure to it is seeing stage hypnosis, which for some people makes them think, oh, no, this can't be real. And for other people, they think, oh, well, I wouldn't want anybody to have that level of control over me. So there's sort of fear attached to it. Some people are very skeptical. But it boils down to this. In order to make sense of reality, you have to make an internal representation of it. We all do. And that's the only way that you can function as an adult in what is a very complicated world, because you've got to be able to predict the outcome of any action. And that means, if I go downstairs, I'll find myself in the kitchen. If I turn the kettle on, the kettle will boil. All of these things, everything we do is about predicting the outcome of our actions. And the only way you can do that is if you make a model in your own head of what reality is all about and how it works and what your place is in it and what you are like and what the universe is like and all the rest of it. You do that by constructing it. Your subconscious mind constructs that for you in the background. It's not something you have to do consciously. It's done for you. And much of what goes into that model comes from language. It's the things that you're told, the things that you taught, the things that you read, the things that you hear, and also the things you tell yourself. Those things are all language based. So it shouldn't be a big surprise that you can use language in order to change the way somebody models reality. And if you want to solve a problem, that's all you really need to do. You change the way they're modeling reality. If somebody's been traumatized, they were modeling reality one way before they hit the traumatic event. Mm-hmm. They're modeling it in a different way afterwards. So all you really need to do is to wind the clock back, have them model it the way they were before. That's doable with suggestion.
It's kind of like it's kind of like rewiring your battery or something like that. It's like you just got to find what kind of works.
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what you're rewiring. You're rewiring your brain just to go back to what it was.
Yeah, if you think about it, the way you model everything, for the most part, it's about the things that you've read, the things you've heard, the things you've been taught and told. You could watch a video on YouTube and you could start thinking about something in a completely different way, simply because somebody's explained something in a new way or giving you information that you haven't had before. And sometimes somebody will say something to you which is really profound, which makes you see something completely differently in a very short time.
Yeah.
So language has this capacity, and we can, it does that anyway. What all hypnosis is really is taking our inbuilt, innate level, natural level of suggestibility, which we all have, otherwise we couldn't be educated,
right,
and heightening it deliberately and purposefully, and then giving suggestions in a therapeutic sense anyway, which describe reality in a new and better way. So that as long as you get that into the subconscious mind and it starts to model it, that person will then think differently, feel differently, maybe behave differently, because all of the things that we think and feel and behave is a consequence of the way we're modeling reality. You've only got to go on Twitter to see that. The fact we all model reality differently.
Yep, you're right. Absolutely.
I think you know what I need. You know what I need you to do, Tim. I need you to come to America. I need you to hypnotize this guy by the name of Donald Trump, and maybe we can rework some things with his brain.
Tony, that could be the one exception right there. That could be the one exception. I'm just letting you know. Listen, Tim is great. Tim is a miracle worker. But listen, even God has limits. I think Trump is the case there. Tim Fazzackerly, visited him. Britain's fastesthypnotist.com. Honestly, Tim, if somebody were to reach out to you at that website and they're from the States, would you have any advice for them? Would you be able to help them?
Yeah, I can give you 2 bits of advice. There's actually on my homepage, there are 2 links. One of which is which is right at the bottom. It's advice on how to choose a hypnotherapist. Because realistically, the best hypnotherapist to see and train.
Whoops, sorry. I actually clicked on that as your voice. Okay, so.
Okay, so realistically, it makes sense to see somebody local, and I'm I'm very, very quick and with hypnosis, and I'm good at what I do, but I'm not unique in that regard. There are plenty of really, really great hypnotherapists all around the world. It's a good idea to find a local one. That's why I put that advice on the homepage.
There you go. Go to the website all the way at the bottom. It's the very bottom. There's a hyperlink right there, a free audio guide, how to choose a hypnotherapist. It's a 19-minute audio clip. Listen to it. And that would be, if you're suffering from PTSD, like my friend Tony, my friend Scotty, who's in the chat room, who's joining us. He's both have very big levels of it. This, I think, would help them immensely, make them, kind of relax and ease up a little bit in regards to that. Hopefully help them. But that's what it's all about, is trying to go ahead and learn this traumatic event, this thing that we're dealing with for Mental Awareness Month. And Tim, I appreciate you diving right into it.
Just before you go, above that link, there's a piece of text that says, "Thank you for visiting."
Yep.
If you click on that, it takes you through to a company called Orpheus Mind Technologies.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
Orpheus Mind Technologies are a mental health technology company that I'm currently partnered with. They're working with some of our top universities, like Imperial College London. There's a psychiatrist up at Newcastle University who's partnered with them as well. They currently have a trial underway of one of the things that I created for them within the National Health Service itself. But the tools that they have are the ones that I'm talking about that were put through the neuroscience clinic. So if somebody's dealing with any kind of anxiety or trauma, before even contacting somebody like myself, I honestly think the best thing to do is to go to Orpheus Mind Technologies, follow that link, try what they've got on offer, because it's cheaper for a start. You don't even need to talk about whatever problems you might have with anybody else, so it's completely private.
Right.
And for the vast majority of people, from what the statistics show, those tools work really well.
That's awesome.
I think somebody like me should be really a last resort. Other things should be explored first.
Well, absolutely. And listen, all the help, all the links that we can go ahead and get people on, or at least get them help. That's what we need. And I mean, who knows? Maybe I suffer from something there. Maybe not be PTSD, but it might be some other type of because I am mental. I'll be honest with you. I'm mental.
Well, we all.
We all are in our own little way, right?
We're all kooky. I'm actually putting up that link right now. The second one that it's offirstmindtechnologies.com. Copy it, paste it. Anybody that needs help, please go to Tim's site, go to the Orpheus site, get help. There's ways to do it. There's a way to conquer this, no matter what level you're on. That's from the expert all the way overseas, and almost 1 o'clock your time. And Tim, I promised you 15, 20 minutes. I'm sorry it went so long, but I think all the information you gave us, I think is going to be just abundantly helpful. Thank you.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. Again, Tim Fazzackerly, Britain's fastest hypnotist.com, and of course, OrpheusMindTechnologies.com. Go ahead and make sure you get the help you need. Tim, a pleasure. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Right.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Take care, Tim.
Oh.
Wow, that was pretty friggin' amazing.
That was very informative, and I'm telling you, can I
just say one thing? I like the fact that
it's good. I like the fact that you thought we were talking about CBD oil in the beginning.
Shut
up. What I heard was CBD, not CBD.
I'm sitting there. I was like, CBT, Charles T, as in Taylor.
Oh, you know what?
It makes you you.
Kiss my ass.
No, truly amazing stuff. I never looked into the possibilities of doing hypnotherapy for my condition. I didn't even know it was an outlet. But I do agree so much that having therapy sessions for PTSD does not work. I mean, Scotty's in the room and you're reading this stuff and I can relate to you, brother. I can relate. I'm right there with you. I get it. Every day. Me and you could have conversations for hours. I guarantee you. It'll probably get us nowhere, but it'll make us feel good to vent. But I could sit there for hours and have conversations with you about having a TBI and reliving this experience constantly and having the angst of going up near where it was. But my thing is like reliving the trauma, going back to the scene and reliving that. I'm scared. I would be scared. I don't know if I could. I don't know if that's a way that I would go approach for myself.
I have certain feelings about certain things like that too, but I don't think I'm as bad because I just washed it off. It's like, okay, whatever. Maybe it's buried deep down where it's like, it doesn't bother me. I don't know. But I know, a lot of people have this traumatic event that they just can't get over or they live through it and they live in fear. And I'm very green when it comes to what is PTSD. I'm very green. I'm like, I went to Scotty a couple of times because he tells it like it is on his show. He goes ahead and says, well, listen, I'm dealing with this, and that. I'm over here. Say, Scotty, just relax, chill out. But he's made it very abundantly clear. Charles, you can't tell me just to relax and chill out.
You can't tell someone
that simple.
Because when someone falls into that mindset, you blank out. Everything around you is absolutely gone, and it's just about that exact moment when your mind. The brain is a powerful fucking thing, Charles. And when I tell you that, when you get into that spot,
my brain's so small, I don't think it even counts.
Nah, it's powerful, man. It's powerful. Let me tell you, because when it wants to take over, and you allow it, it will take over. And without having those resources and tools to be able to just calm yourself down at that exact moment, it gets out of control. It can get reckless. I mean, Scotty even put it in the chat. Yep. He has a card that
in
says
case
he has
pulled over.
Yeah, I got one too. People got to realize, like, if you're having an anxiety attack, they might take you for a drunk, but you're actually going through a crisis. Yep. You're in crisis mode. And that's the thing. America is not allocating money to the awareness of mental illness towards people. They'll give you a card, but people like police and stuff like that are not looking at the big picture of how much this is affecting.
They're going to take a look at that card. They're going to say, use it for toilet paper. What do I care? See, even if you get a card that says, hey, listen, I'm fucked up. You need to watch what you do and what you say. It's like they'll take a look. What is this supposed to be? They look at it like it's drawn in crayon.
Yes, it's so important that I wish people would understand what the month of June represents, what the month of May represents. It's just not
July. Apparently, according to Scotty, July is actually focused on PTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
July's the whole thing. This is just Mental Awareness Month. Next month is just PTSD across the board.
Right. But you go through. I went to a Memorial Day celebration, and there was a lot of vets though that were there that were down on one knee, that were crying. They went through trauma, man, and I get it. I get it. It's hard. It's hard to cope with it. It's hard to live with it, but it's an everyday battle. And the more and more that we put forward and make this push for people to be aware of what is going on, there's a pandemic after this pandemic. That's why I brought that question up to Tim, and I said, "Hey, are you seeing COVID cases of people with depression and trauma from being isolated? Because there's a pandemic after the pandemic. Therapists are all booked up."
There was actually a call that came in while Tim was on. I didn't want to take the call because I didn't want to interrupt the interview. Let me call this person back. Let me see if we can go ahead and
we're calling people.
We're calling people. Yeah, why not?
Pickle Park 1-2. Pickle Park 1-2.
This is Pickle Park 1-2. I'm hanging right up. I ain't fucking kidding. I'm just hanging right up. Fuck this. I'm not sure if this is Will. Hey, this is Charles. Will?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Listen, hey man, I apologize. I didn't pick. Listen. Well, I'm not apologizing. No, I didn't want to pick up because we were in an interview. So I know you had some issue. You had some information you wanted to share.
Oh yeah, plenty. I suffer from PTSD from many aspects of things.
Okay.
I don't know how to call her right now, but my partner, will just leave it like that.
No. You're kidding.
Yeah, we're going to leave it right there.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
She has borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a severe mental health issue where your example for her, like with borderline personality disorder, your mind does not process things the way it should.
Right.
So when you're angry, you go to the first, thing that you can think of with anger. And in her case, it was her father literally beating the crap out of her. So when she gets angry, she just gets violent.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter who she's violent with. It just if you're in that those train tracks, that's it. You're getting run over.
Exactly. And right now, they literally labeled me clinically depressed because of everything that's going on between her and I right now. Because she had a BPD episode, and something happened where I ended up falling out of my wheelchair in the incidence of this.
Jeez.
And the cops hauled her away and took her to jail. Now we have a no contact order.
It's
very
like Will said, we're gonna leave it at that. This is somebody that he was involved with. So let's put
No. I was going to ask him who's diagnosing him as clinically depressed. Is a psychiatrist? Is it an actual psychiatrist that is deeming you clinically depressed?
It was my PCP. He goes, I would label you clinically depressed right now with what you're going through. Because the woman I had been with for 4 years is now literally being and was my caregiver because I'm disabled and in a wheelchair, which Charles knows.
Yeah,
right.
She was literally one of the only people that was taking care of me.
Okay.
And
I understand.
was a huge part of my life for so long. And now we're facing this mountain and we can't contact each other. So I'm sitting here in limbo, like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get through this? Are we not going to get through this? Are you talking to some other guy? Like, all these things are racing through my mind. And it's hard for me to not, or hard for me to get distracted, because up until today, when she left Thursday morning of last week, I've been in the house by myself. And everywhere I turn, it's just memories of her. So and then I bunny trail down, and it's just, ugh. So I had talked to my doctor. My doctor's like, well, you got an appointment next week, so we'll see what we can do to maybe adjust your meds accordingly, because you're obviously going through a lot right now.
Well, yeah, agreed. But I mean, is this something that we were talking with Tim? Maybe the hypnotherapy, the hypnosis may help you, maybe a lot better than the meds would.
I think a hypnosis might, but I'm also afraid on that aspect of things, I don't want to forget anything. Because right now, as far as her and I go, we both made mistakes. There was mistakes on both sides. I don't want to get into it.
No, you don't have
to.
No one asking for that.
So right now, my focus is, for me, I'm trying to better myself, for her when she comes back.
Right.
And just, not getting religious, but, trying to focus on God and everything so I can get myself right. Whether it's for her or somebody else.
And that's going to be the main focus. You need to get yourself right. It's not about her. Yeah. It's not about anybody else but you. It's about getting you right.
Exactly. So. However, the statement was brought up to me today through other individuals that it was said, you focus on you. If you meet someone better, go ahead, do it. And honestly, I'm not even thinking about that. My focus is on, I do focus on her because, she's my goal. She's the one that, kind of drives me to do things. So,
one of these things that if I was a doctor, I'd say you need to focus on you. And it sounds like, it sounds like you need a good hand job, blow job. I think some grease needs to come out of that wheel. If you know what I mean.
Clear the tubes. Clear the
tubes. No. Charles, I know we can joke about those kinds of things.
I know it's just it's an inner thing with us.
It's right now. I don't want to focus on grease coming out of anything. Okay. My mind is.
How about if we have Tom Brady come out there and slick you?
No, Tom Brady is not welcome in my house. I don't care how much I love the Buccaneers. I know he's our quarterback. I know he helped our team. I don't care. I just don't care for the guy. I give the man respect. He's an amazing athlete. Obviously, you don't do the kind of stuff that he's done. Granted, there is some allegations of cheating, yada, 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 but we're not going to get into that.
Well, no, we're not going to get into it. This is about you now. This is about helping you.
Yeah, you can't cheat 24/7. And I don't want him coming to my house. Although if you get Mike Evans to come over here, that might be a different story.
So, Mike, what if you got a three-way? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and you. I mean, that'd be a pretty good three-way right there.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of dudes involved here, man. I don't know what I signed up. You talk about Pickle Park 1-2-1-2.
No, this is Pickle Park 3. The bad sequel. Will, listen, hang on. I'm going to try to say hang in there, but I know that's not exactly very easy to do. Just take it one day at a time, and do what you can do. And if you need us, we can go. Always give us a call, give us a message. me and Karen, we're both here, and I'm sure Tony too. If he has a bad day.
I've been talking to Karen quite frequently since all this has gone down.
Yeah, she kind of filled me in a little bit. She didn't go into too much detail, but it's like I wasn't.
Yeah,
like, wow,
she said I
sucks.
don't feel comfortable giving him all the details. I was like, hey, as long as he knows that there's stuff going on, and I'm not in a good place.
Right.
Like honestly, that's
Well,
why
just know one thing. Know one thing.
I
Bud.
had all the intentions last week Friday to be watching and Wednesday to watching, but Wednesday started the fight. Thursday morning the fight continued, and then not in a good place. But
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to leave you with this because I'm no doctor. I've been through a reign of tons of stuff throughout my last 4 years of dealing with mental illness.
Right.
It's okay to be not okay. That's number one. All right. You're not alone there.
Oh.
But number two, when you get out of this, not only are you going to be stronger, but you're going to be more wiser, and it's going to hit you like a slap on the back of the head, because once you come out of it, you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, whoa, okay. And then that's where the rebuilding process of everything starts to come in place. And you'll know when you're there. You'll know when you're there. I can't tell you when you're going to be there, but you will know. You will know when you're coming out of it.
When you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know. You'll know.
Well, appreciate the call, man. Appreciate it. Again, sorry I didn't get you on with Tim, but
I appreciate you doing the mental illness thing, because I can tell you this from a personal standpoint, growing up in the 80s and even the 90s. Let's just keep it real. If mental health was getting the attention it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s that it is today, I said this to a friend of mine. I said, we may not be talking about Jeffrey Dahmer has Head and Shoulders in his bathtub.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Maybe he would have got the help he needed, and we would have never had to worry about that murder. The murders that happened from him.
The sad part is it's that they're making, these months, the awareness months and everything like that that's going on, and there's still people suffering to no end, and it sucks.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Will, I feel as if that this has been pushed to the side for a very long time. The groups that I'm a part of, I can send Charles the links, and you can join them also to make the push for your state.
Oh, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, I'm a huge advocate for mental health. Charles will tell you that I'm a huge person that speaks very openly about my mental illness. The more that we can expose this, the more that it can get into the hands of people that actually can do something about it.
Right.
That's what needs to be done. That's where we need to stop allocating money to.
In on this. My friend Roger came up from Virginia to help take care of me since I'm going to be here alone, because her and I have a no contact order. I was telling him about your show with mental illness today.
Yep.
And he said, I really want to tune into that. So I was asking him if he had anything he wanted to add in before I let you go.
Sure. Absolutely.
I also suffer from fetal alcohol syndrome and post-traumatic stress disorder. My post-traumatic stress disorder stems from my childhood, but I will say this: it's very hard at times for me. But I do agree with you. One thing, we need to make more awareness of this. Like, I can't stress that enough. Mental health, all the way around. We need more awareness. We need more funding for it.
More research.
All across the board.
Funding, research, help, doctors, everything. Everything.
Yep.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, just it's mental health affects everyone.
Absolutely.
You know,
there's no one out there that isn't a little bit quirky. We're just a little bit extra quirky, as I like to call it.
Speak for yourself. I'm under quirky, but I'm still quirky. Hey, listen. I've been Baker acted once. Is that like a badge for me?
Sure, Charles.
I'm just saying.
I just want to thank you for doing the show on mental health awareness.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Again, a lot of this is inspired by Tony. A lot of this is inspired by Scotty and the people that I've met over the years that do suffer from this type of this trauma, and being made aware of for this month. I thought Tim would be a great fit tonight to go ahead and kick things off.
That was great. It was perfect. It was perfect.
I just want to say, with my mental health from the PTSD that I had, I had a roommate that was schizophrenic and not taking his medication and was drinking and tackled me and stabbed me 12 times in the shoulder.
Jeez. Well, that's what happens when you're schizo and you don't take your meds or not treating it.
Yeah. Exactly. So literally,
you got to be careful.
It's when you begin treating schizophrenia with alcohol and drug abuse. That's where it starts getting out of control.
But even it's worse because you're going to have a lot of people that are deniers and people. It's like, well, I don't have any problems. I don't have any issues. I'm just going to go ahead and drink and make things 10 times worse. And then before you know it, they're doing something that's going to put them in prison.
Correct.
Well, with me, like, for a good year and a half after it happened, you could not come behind me and touch me from behind without me swinging, because I was like, oh, damn it, here we go again. Like, literally, even now, my back has to be to the wall where I can see everything around me, because I don't want someone creeping up behind me.
Well, I could have made a joke about that, but I'm going to take it seriously. So I understand that. Yeah, because that's just going to be, you don't want the surprise effect. Hey, Will, I'm coming up behind you. I'm going to touch your shoulder very gently right above the neck. Don't tickle, and don't swing.
Wifey was one of the few people. Oh, see, now I'm going to get emotional because I missed the hell out of her. She was one of the few people that actually could calm me down when I had a PTSD episode.
Right. Dude, have faith, man. I have faith, man. I think you guys going to reconcile. I think this is going to end just fine, but I'm not one to predict anything. I just shook my magic 8-ball and said everything would be fine, but you know how those things they don't last very long. But
she literally picked up a knife, like a butcher knife, and made a face just like my old roommate did, like Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Like he was about ready to cut up some steaks.
Yeah, and started making stabbing motions, and I blacked out. I don't remember what happened. Next thing I know, she's like in front of me, like shaking me, like, I'm right here.
Right.
It's okay. I got you. And I just like squeezed her.
Was that like a psychotic event that was not real and you'd like envision that, or was that real?
I thought she was gonna come and start stabbing me like my old roommate did.
Wow. Yeah,
like literally,
scary, man.
That's what I thought.
I've never had those thoughts before, but I can just imagine how scary that would be just to have those things. That's not cool.
Yeah, like I had nightmares for like 3 months where I would start screaming and just start punching in my sleep. I punched her in the face one time in the middle of the night because I thought he was coming after me.
Wow.
And she's like, she goes, I know what you're going through, but it's me. It's me.
Yep.
It's me. And then I would finally like come to, and I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she goes, it's okay.
Well, again, she understands. So she understands. And listen, the more and more we get the awareness out there, a lot more people are going to understand, hey, listen, it's not all your fault. It's not your fault, period. You know, this is something that happened that you're reenacting. It's just, you just got to go ahead and kind of get through it. Go visit the link, get some help. That's the thing. That's what everybody needs, is they need help with this.
Yeah, well, I think what you need to do
when you get a chance, Charles.
What? When I get a chance, what? Need the links?
Send me the links that your buddy was telling me about.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And Will, do yourself a favor. Will. PCP is good. I agree. Let him give you a referral to psychiatry and try to get evaluated and get a proper diagnosis from a psychiatrist.
Oh, I've already been properly diagnosed. They got me on, I think it's duloxetine.
Oh, okay.
That's heavy.
Yeah.
But
honestly, cannabis is the big thing that helps me out.
Yeah, CBD.
But cannabis, that's just to use to kind of relax you, isn't it?
No, CBD. Yeah. Now we're talking about CBD.
Okay, all right.
If I'm having a panic attack and I'm like going tense, shaking up like crazy, it's like, dude, you need to, and you hand it to me, I will do it.
Yep.
But I won't go and grab it because my mind is like going everywhere else but that.
I just went ahead and sent you both links, so you should have them in your inbox. You got it.
You want me to forward those to you as well, Roger? The links for the. Yeah.
Even
if you don't mind,
even if he says no, just forward them. Yeah. Listen,
just get it out there.
If we can pass these out to 1,000 people, I'd be happy. Because again, this is not just for you, Will.
He just told me to send them to you.
This is not just for you, Will. This is for everybody. This needs to be shared throughout the world. So don't hog it.
I will share it with everybody I know.
Don't hog it like your favorite Tom Brady action figure.
Oh, don't even go. You mean Jameis Winston?
Oh, the Jameis Winston action figure. Yeah.
Hey, I do have a couple of those. I'm not even lying.
What do you think he's going to do with the Saints now? He's starting. He should be starting. What do you think he's going to do with the Saints?
They're paying him $11 million. They better start him. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I don't think Hill's going to make it.
In my heart of hearts, being a Winston fan, hearing the statements that he made this off season, I believe he's going to turn some heads.
He's going to give some head. What?
I believe he's going to turn some heads because he said, "You know what? What happened in Tampa? That was my fault. I made mistakes.
What happens in Tampa stays in Tampa."
Yeah, that's right.
And this season in New Orleans, I'm going to show all my fans why I was the first pick overall.
We'll show Sean Payton what it's like to have a dislocated jaw when I go down on him.
God. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell with the Winston thing. But like I said, I'm a huge supporter of him. I love what he stands for and everything. But
season starts in September. We can make all the guesses we want, though.
I ain't making no bets on football.
Season, then I'm going to be like, dude, you just need to retire.
Yeah.
Like, I love you to death as a player, but dude, you got to retire. Your career was over after college. You know, that's what I'll honestly say. If he flops this season, I'll be like, dude,
he's done.
Call it.
He's done. All right, well.
Yeah.
Listen, appreciate you calling in.
You guys have a great day.
Prayers out to you. I hope everything turns around for you.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
Take care.
All right. Be good, brother.
All right.
I'm telling you, man, the second you get on that mental health, man, it's a whole different show. It's game over.
I mean, you know what?
It's game over.
It's informative. It's not as funny, but you know what? It's still something that needs to be done.
John Monroe hitting up the chat. Winston hanging out in Pickle Park.
Yeah.
My man.
Maybe Pickle Park.
Getting ready to go to an AC/DC concert.
Stop it. 8:24, man, and like we're almost there. You hanging around? Or you going?
I might as well hang. Are you taking a break? Because I got to take a leak.
Yeah, me too. That's why I got to go. Taking a break. 2 songs coming at you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on the Charles Richardson Show.
Be kind and rewind. The Charles Richardson Show will be right back.
social disease. So all the lyric keep me on my knees. I want to bark and howl and scream. How do you like me now? You know I haven't learned to see in the dark. And let a little darkness in my heart. It feels good like I knew it would. Takes me under, holds it under. Take your time, read my mind, cross that line, roll the dice, the dice are loaded. I don't know why I'm starting to die, but I'm saying that it feels alright. And when you're trying to tremble and shake, I won't be falling down. You know I say all the danger around. Up in the hills and on the streets downtown. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Takes you under, hold me under. Take your time, read my mind, cross that line, roll the dice, the dice are loaded.
new chapter. In this chapter, reality is hit. Reality is, I'm single, fucking dating. I can do what I want now. Now, here's the scary thing about dating for me. I believe in karma. Whatever you do in life is gonna come full circle at some point in time. I know it is, okay? My fear is I'm gonna fuck around and fall in love and I'm gonna get hurt. When I think about getting hurt, I think about the ultimate level of getting hurt. Like, I'm trying to surprise my lady on her lunch break. She would be in the car, give some dude head, I'm gonna fuck around and see it. Now, I know I'm not strong enough to deal with that. I'm too emotional. I'll break down. No. Pick your head up. Don't finish. Don't finish it. Jesus, take the wheel, please. I know I can't deal with that. Some men are. Some men can't. Some men are strong enough to catch that woman in the sexual act, like giving another man head to the point where they can go up to the car, open the car door, and say one sentence. In that sentence, they'll let a woman know how much he loved her, how bad she hurt him, and where he is mentally. He can walk off. Some men can pull it off. You know what? I loved you the best that I could. What I could do, I did. What I didn't do, I tried. Fuck it. He'll walk off. She'll feel bad. Why am I doing this? I don't want to do it no more. Did you get it? That was the dick. Did you guys get it? This was the dick. Did you get it? You got it? All right. Some men are different. Some men are killers. Some men are thugs all the time. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I see my girl in the car, give some dude head. I'm gonna go up to the car. I'm gonna grab him, drag him out the car. I'm gonna beat the shit out the dude. That's what some men feel. Would you do that, man? Chase, would you fuck him up? You whip his ass. You gonna fight the guy with his dick out? His dick is out. This guy got the hard dick. That's the wrong answer, Chase. I don't like that answer. I don't think you thought about it. You should have thought it through. His fucking dick is out. I can't fight the dude with the hard dick. It's not gonna happen. The reason why is because I'm small. When I fight, I gotta get low. I gotta get your legs. If your dick is out, at some point in time, that's gonna cause a problem for me. At some point in time. Yo, you got my girl out here in a fucking car? Huh? Nigga? Yo, you're gonna lose your fucking mind if a man's dick hits your head in front of a group of people watching the fight. You're gonna do some shit you never thought you would do. You're gonna fuck around and grab it. You're gonna say some shit you never thought you would say. I'm gonna rip it up! This dick is coming with me! This is my dick! I got 2 dicks now! Yo, if you grab a dude's dick in a fight, you gotta kill yourself that night. You have to die that night. You can't go on living. Because for the rest of your life, you're gonna be known as the dude to grab the dude's dick that day in the fight. They're gonna do to grab that dude's dick that day in the fight. What was I supposed to do? The dick was on my head. Hey man, get your dick grabbing ass out of here, man. Somebody try to talk to you, dick grabber.
Don't be a pussy. Call Charles now. 813-699-5353.
It's like we're having like some type of church intervention.
I ain't grabbing no man's dick during a fight. So.
Hell no. What the hell was Kevin Hart talking about? Grabbing a man's dick. What the hell is he talking about? I mean, he's short enough he can go ahead and blow somebody. I can tell you what.
He literally said, "You know what it's like to grab a man's dick during the fight?" Like, Kevin, you've done that?
Yeah. Have you done that? Is there experience there?
Him and Dwayne.
You on drugs?
813-699-5353. We're back to a normal show now. Sort of. Alyssa's in studio. She didn't have to deal with the PTSD moment.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
Hi. Well,
WWE. What? How about WWE dropping a fucking bomb today?
Do you really want to go into that?
I'm a wrestling fan.
I'll go into it. Because
I'm a wrestling fan, so
even as much as Alyssa does not care for wrestling, the names that I'm going to throw out there, she knows. Braun Strowman released.
Really?
Gone.
Yeah. Ruby Riott,
Ruby
gone.
Riott, gone. Aleister Black, gone.
Which
Keith
is so
Lee,
fucking
gone.
weird. Aleister Black, they just did this whole build-up thing that they did over the last like month and a half, changing his intro and all this, and then they release him. Dude, AEW is taking over.
Telling you.
AEW, I'm telling you.
It seems like that. The news that I've heard is that they're budget cutting to sell to NBC.
That's been in the news. What was it? 3 years they were planning on doing it. Yeah,
they're already on Peacock, which is owned by NBC Comcast. So it's like it's going to be just that soon enough where WWE is going to be part of NBC Universal.
Yeah,
which is weird because they're getting paid a shitload of money at Fox.
What's Braun got, a 90-day no clause or something like that?
They all do. It's a 90-day, but it's a 90-day clause. Day 91, you're gonna see those lame ass freaking memes. Braun Strowman is all elite. You'll see. Yeah. It may not even be Braun Strowman because when
Rusev, dumbass John Cena,
when Rusev got cut and signed with AEW, he goes by Miro, which is the gayest name ever. So now when I go and watch AEW and I see Rusev Crush. Well, no, it's now Miro Muscles or something like that.
Oh, muscles are added into it.
I know. I'm saying how gay it is. Just saying. Muscular Miro. Oh, Lana got released too. So them going to get back together. Well, they're already together, but they'll be in the same thing now. All we need is Renee Young to go ahead and get released so she can be reunited with Dean Ambrose / John Moxley.
Such a joke, man.
It's really
WWE has really just fucked up.
The thing is, they've just announced a 60-day tour that they're doing with cities. SummerSlam is going to probably be in Vegas at the Alliance, the Raider Stadium. I mean, it's like, who are they going to have?
Dude, the storylines are trash. Like, the storylines are just horrible. Like, it's not even. See, I go back to
it's booking.
It's not fun. It's not fun anymore. Like, the storylines are trash. Where friggin' what's his name? Randy Orton's getting burned by what's her name? I can't think.
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss. She's got these powers, and now she's burning you. You will. What happened to the trash era, man? You know what I mean? The good era with DX and all this. It's trash.
Well, see, if we go back to that era, Alexa Bliss is going to be coming out in a skimpy outfit and is going to go ahead and blow kisses as she goes ahead and skips around the ring.
And Jerry the King Lawler's talking about puppies. Puppies.
We got a call. What's up?
Hey, Charles, it's Matt Connerton. How you doing?
Dude, what is up? How you doing, man?
Good. No, I was just listening, and it occurred to me, I don't think I've ever actually called your show. So I thought I'd return the favor, and you were talking about WWE, which we were talking about earlier on my show.
Yep.
When you called in, and
the breaking announcement from EZG. Oh, WWE released wrestlers. That's not really that big of an issue. That was done 2 hours before you called in, but whatever. Hey, I mean, he has his right to go ahead and do his breaking news and get that big intro. But
well, yes, that's what I love. It's an excuse to play that very long, which I think just makes it funny. That very long breaking news intro there. But he was claiming that Keith Lee was also released, but that's not true as far as I know. They're just not using him.
I'm claiming Keith Lee was released. He didn't mention it.
Oh,
I did.
It was you who said that.
Yeah, I saw a report. Keith Lee was also released.
I thought they just weren't using him because I tried to find that online, and I mean, it's probably going to happen, but I think they haven't officially released him yet.
Oh, really? All right. I mean, because everything you see on the internet's true, but maybe this one isn't.
Yeah, because they haven't used him in a while, so it's probably coming. But I also heard you mention Renee Young. She's already out, so she could go to AEW at any time.
Oh, she's cut already? I thought she was just like
she got
on
cut.
leave. Oh yeah, so she needs to go and reunite with her man Moxley in AEW.
Yeah. But the other thing that's weird about all this that I don't hear anybody talking about is so they release Aleister Black, but which is a huge mistake. But this is right after. Do you realize that his wife, Zelina Vega, they just hired her back a couple of weeks ago. Did you know that?
No, I did not. I heard of Zelina Vega. And somewhere I wasn't sure what the news was, but now you're correcting me.
Yeah, but they did this huge build up for Aleister Black over the last month and a half, and then they shunned them.
We're gonna hire your girlfriend back, but we're cutting you.
Yeah, it's bizarre. They're married now, but it's very strange. And like Tony pointed out, they did this big reintroduction of Aleister Black, but I liked what they did with him in NXT, but of course, as with everyone they bring up from NXT, with the exception of The Shield and maybe one or two others, they figure out a way to screw it up as soon as they're on the main roster. I haven't watched an episode of Raw or SmackDown in years. I can't even.
It's trash.
It's
trash. The storylines are horrible. It's not even when you have Alexa Bliss having these magic powers all of a sudden to burn Randy Orton. You lost me. I'm done.
But I kind of like what they were trying to do. They were trying to have her be a Sister Abigail to the Fiend, and I got it. It could have worked, but they were lazy with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Listen, they're looking. Vince is looking
the Fiend, but they screw everything up eventually.
Vince is trying to figure out a way to get out of this. He's trying to figure out a way to sneak out of this and get some money before it all blows up. And I don't know what the ultimate goal is at the end of the day with WWE, but NBC obviously has some type of plan to revamp it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that I think the WWE has fallen so far into a hole that they're going to do this 60-day tour and try to make some money out of it. They just got all this money from doing the Fox stuff. Mm-hmm. How much more money do you need? I mean, like you cut Braun, who had a 4-year extension signed in 2017, and you cut him. But it's
not like you're saving a lot of money by cutting Braun. He was only guaranteed $1 million a year.
Yeah, so but he was a champion. He was a champion last year, and he was just in recently with Shane McMahon in WrestleMania.
But he was also on Backlash for the Universal title or some shit.
I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me on the release. I don't get it.
Like I mentioned when I called the Matt show, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I have a feeling it's going to be very interesting the next few days, few weeks, months, maybe.
Well, the rumor is John Cena's coming back.
Well, yeah,
that's
I know
what the rumor.
But I don't understand what releasing Strowman and these other 5 wrestlers have anything to do with Cena. Because they're not going to be interested in Cena.
Budget cuts, man.
What? So they can pay Cena $15 million?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Matt, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I tuned in when EZG was giving his report, I think Brock Lesnar was out he still has like 2 years, and then Goldberg still has 2 matches left under his contract, so he's going to be guaranteed to come back.
There is there's bad news when you start rehashing 50 and 60-year-old wrestlers.
It's bad. It's been like that. It's been like that. Here's hard facts for you with this. How long did it take for them to stop Ric Flair from getting in the ring? It took him to almost damn near die.
They're still wheelchairing him in there.
But he almost damn near had a heart attack and damn near died. And Jerry the King Lawler had the same thing. And then they were like, you know what? We can't put these guys in the ring no more.
Listen, all he has to do is have a couple of referees walk him down there. He's limping along, or a walker or something. He does his one woo, and then that's it. He gets paid.
I don't know. WWE. I miss
for the figure 4. It'll be the figure 1.
I miss ECW. I'm an ECW guy. I miss ECW. That was my go-to.
Yeah, I know. It's the extreme stuff where hey, there are no rules. We make the rules. Or
It was what was it?
Dangerous.
What was the guy with the kendo stick? That was in ECW.
Sandman. I love Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman. Exactly.
Sandman was
Good.
the shit. And you know
and
what?
Then, and who was the martial arts guy? Blackman.
He wasn't even a
Blackman?
wrestler. Samuel wasn't even a wrestler. He came in there, kicked her ass, and walked out. He wasn't even a wrestler.
A brawler.
Yeah, but Steve Blackman. You remember him? You remember Steve Blackman? The martial arts guy?
I used to like him, yeah. He was very quiet, but he was fun to watch.
Yeah, Steve Blackman was actually very, very, very martial artsy when he got into the ring.
He's been to the headquarters in Stamford, and he calls Cena a joke, which I think that pretty much is. Listen, if you've been out of wrestling for over a year and you missed your first WrestleMania, since you started, I think you just stay out. Go make your Fast and Furious 10 million movies, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a mainstream star now, though, and Vince loves that.
Yep.
Vince loves getting that mainstream publicity.
Coming now down to the ring, the host of Wipeout, John Cena.
That's right. He does do that.
He does do the host of Wipeout.
He does do that.
As much as I am not into wrestling now, there was a period of time, a short period of time, that I was actually into it, but now it sucks.
Yeah, the short period of time is the amount of time it took her to touch herself to Roman Reigns.
Oh,
Let me take a guess.
Oh
it was the era. It was the era with Trish Stratus, Chyna, Lita.
No, this is when after I met her, because I'm the one that brought wrestling into the household. It was Daniel Bryan, Ryback. She loved Ryback. Feed me
he's a
more.
good wrestler.
And she was like saying, yes, feed me more.
No, not like that.
Oh my goodness.
God.
Matt, you got to realize what type of show you called in. This is not FM mainstream anymore, okay? We can say shit, ass, and all that shit.
I know. Hey,
I
we're
never
happy
had
to,
that feeling towards Ryback. I just thought he was entertaining.
No, yeah, that's right. You didn't have that feeling because he was a little bit of a brute. You like the long-haired people, not the bald people. Why do you think I'm trying to grow my hair out?
Ryback is not a sex symbol to you.
No.
Thank God.
Here's an ultimate question. Here's a serious question. What do you think the WWE will sell for?
Billions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think
a lot of money.
I think at least 40, 50 billion.
Really? That high, huh?
But you got to realize WWE is not just wrestling. You know, they got their own film production. They got their TV production, WWE Network, which is AKA on Peacock, but they still have to produce it. So, and they're worldwide. So, yeah. I mean, you got to realize Vince is not stupid.
Do they still do films though? Now that you mention it, do they still do WWE films? Because I don't recall. I may have just not noticed, but I don't recall.
I think the last one that they did was with The Miz.
Yeah,
whatever that movie was with The Miz.
The Marine 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, before COVID, WWE still used to do the films, but it was like direct to video or something like that. They still sold though. That's the thing. It's still part of their assets. And they own all the library, the WCW, WWE library, ECW library. So when you buy the company, you're buying not just the wrestlers and the shows, you're buying all this other shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, Matt does hypnotherapy. Maybe he does the PTSD stuff too.
Hey, that's we can go ahead and give his number out, and we can maybe do a can you do it over the phone, or do you have to be with the person one-on-one?
No, I can do it online. I use a program called Doxy.me, which I learned about once the pandemic hit, because I used to, really only do sessions in person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it can be done online. Absolutely. Yeah, that's how I see all my clients now, really.
Yeah, because the first half of the show, we actually had somebody that was a hypnotherapist from the UK that specializes in dealing with PTSD. And, that's if you got something to add in there, we can give your information out. You can take some clients, maybe make some extra dough.
Yeah, we definitely have some. We definitely have some people calling.
Hypnosis is very useful for a great many things, including that. The thing that clients come to me the most for is to quit smoking. That's kind of the number one thing. Really, you can use it for almost anything, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't turned his show into like maybe a 15-minute therapy session to somebody. He's got the couch right there in the studio. Get him laying on the couch and
that. I actually did that once on a morning show. They invited me in. This was years ago. I was invited onto a morning show. This was maybe 10 years ago. And I hypnotized one of the hosts live on the air. But I wouldn't do that today. And I wouldn't do it on my show because I look back on that and I think of how irresponsible that was. Because if somebody had been in their car driving, they could have fallen asleep. You know what I mean? For real, like I never should have done that. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, that's why I would never do it on my show, because if somebody's driving in their car, and they're gonna, I can't, that would be terrible for all kinds of reasons.
Matt Connarton from Matt Connarton Unleashed. You can listen to him Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time on rawtalkonlineradio.com. Yes, we do have a website back. It just had to be reverted a little bit. rawtalkonlineradio.com. Listen to Matt Connarton. He's also a part of IPMNation.com as well. And if you're in the Manchester area, go visit his couch over at 95.3 Studios.
That's right. And by the way, we're happy to have you on IPM Nation.
Cool. That's right. Yeah. I keep forgetting that you guys are one of my affiliates. We appreciate that. Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm forgetful. I need some. Yeah, I'm the one that needs some hypnotherapy. Believe it or not.
Apparently, yes. Well, it is good also for recovering memories. So there you go.
Oh yeah. Then I'm definitely in need. Then I have zero memory. I have a memory like an elephant. Wait, or a dinosaur. Whatever the hell that has the least memory.
Elephants actually
You
have
forgot.
a good memory.
I forgot.
Which one does?
I have less memory than my computer does. Let's put it that way.
Oh my!
And that's not a lot. Just saying.
But yeah, anyone who's interested in learning more about hypnotherapy or about my radio show or whatever, easiest thing to do, just go to my website, mattconnarton.com, and that's CONNARTON, mattconnarton.com, and everything's there. My contact info, information, all of it.
Excellent. I'll go ahead and post that up here, mattconnarton.com. There we go. Matt, appreciate you calling, man. It was a pleasure having you on my show for once.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have to do this more often. Thank you all. It was nice talking with you.
All right. You too. Thank you. Have a good night,
brother.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
There you go. Matt joining us on the show for once. Good thing you stuck around. He's your buddy.
Yeah.
Hypnosis. My dad quits. John says hypnosis helped my dad quit smoking. An infected fly. I think that might have been mid towards
like a zipper, a zipper fly.
That could have been.
Zipper.
Could have been.
You know. I looked at that Gold Belly ice cream today, and it does look delicious. I'm waiting for you to buy it, dude, to try it. So I'm gonna harp you until you at least fold into one of them and buy something.
Let's go into the memes real quick here to close out the show because it's already 55 after, for Christ's sake. Let's get this up. All right. Here's the Wicked Witch of the West. I just have days when I'm less likely to put up with shit. That wasn't kind of that funny. Here's a conversation. Do you like men? No, but I'm attracted to them anyways.
I don't get it. I don't get it
either. Oh, no. It's never mind. I get it. Son of a bitch. My brain, OMG, why did you text him, you stupid bitch? Me, because I was horny. When I absolutely destroy my kids in a burping contest and my wife starts bragging about how unbelievable I am and she's never met anybody like me. So the guy gets a trophy husband shirt and coffee mug.
I had a number one husband trophy.
Well, I really hate to see who number two was. My wine stopper has never worked a day in its life. Well, that's somebody. If you think my nuts are big, wait until you see my dipstick. That's a sign, by the way. I really hope that doesn't turn into a t-shirt. I hope my daughter is this hard to get into bed when she's 18.
Jesus God. Jesus Christ, dude.
Don't ask me to adjust my AC. Bring a blanket or a jacket. This Antarctica. Karen's lost it a little bit here. These are kind of like just mundane. Love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I get that one. And there you go. That is the memes for today, June 2nd, 2021. Again, it wasn't the greatest of memes, but whatever. It filled time. Only 2 minutes, but it filled time. So anyway, Tony, again, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I was only supposed to be on for an hour, but fuck it. We ran too.
Yeah, fuck it. But we appreciate you coming on, and I knew this was going to be something that you had to be a part of.
Yeah.
Hopefully it left you with a little insight, maybe some
it left me with a lot of curiosity on it. Yeah, it left me with a lot of curiosity.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole thing with PTSD anyways. A lot of people are curious about it. Yeah. It's like, they may not know a lot of knowledge, but they're like, what is it?
I thought we would get a call from John tonight. I thought we would have got a call.
No, he doesn't. No, he's going to talk about freaking Pickle Park. We don't need that. We don't need Pickle Park tonight. We'll save that for Friday. Yeah, we'll save that for Friday.
Like John. I like John. John's a nice guy. I like
John's good. Listen, I have no problem with John. John's awesome. And we welcome him and his crazy comments, no matter how prickly they may be or how he fantasizes about his own Pickle Park. Whatever. That's gonna about do it for us, everybody. On behalf of Tony and myself, we want to thank Tim Fizzackerly to come on to the show, UK hypnotist, and the man. If you are suffering from PTSD, he's the man to go ahead and take a look at. But don't just take my word for it. Go visit britain'sfastesthypnotist.com. And there's a few links on there. If he's not able to help you because he's not local, click on some of those links there to go ahead and get help if you need help. And don't be shy, because it's okay not to be okay.
There you go, brother. I like that.
Take care, Tony. Have a great night.
You too, bub.
All right. And you guys as well. Take care. We'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
True, been there before. But now the sun don't hurt me. It blinded me permanently.